Chris Sewall here, baseball card collector, investor, dealer, in that order. Welcome everyone. I do a lot of videos sort of looking at collections I've purchased or PSA reveal videos, that sort of thing. But I haven't done many videos discussing how I sell cards, and it's something I've been asked about a lot. You know, how do you sell cards, especially given that you're in the Netherlands? And you know, I have an eBay account, but I use it sort of sparingly at this point. It used to be the heartbeat of my company, but not anymore, as it's fairly limited from the Netherlands. I do a lot of my selling in person when I'm in the States, but on top of that, I also use a variety of companies' websites online to sell cards online, and it's probably about 10 different companies I use now at this point, and they have sort of various, you know, strengths and weaknesses. And like I said, I do use eBay mainly to sell sort of vintage common lots at this point, but I've mentioned CUMC. They're really the number one company for me at this point in terms of selling, the most critical company for me. But on top of that, there's a bunch of others. So I'm going to run through about 5 in this video here, and you know, everything you see in this video is stuff I sold on my last summer trip to the States through these companies. And you know, I'm fans of these companies, or I use them all. A couple of these companies are sponsors of the channel, so I'll give the full disclosure on that, but nothing about this particular video is sponsored in any way. All right, first company I'll talk about is Hoodies, and they are a sponsor of the channel. You'll see me mention them every once in a while before high rollers, or maybe in the middle of regular rollers, but like I said, they're not sponsoring this particular video, and I am a legit customer of theirs. I use them regularly. There was a stretch when they were not sponsoring the channel anymore, and I continued to use their services. I found it very nice. Basically, all they do for you is run auctions for you on eBay, and you can easily say, well, why don't you just run your own auctions? And the truth is, I don't have time. I have too many cards I need to sell, and I don't have enough time in order to manage all the listings and do all the shipping and all that. You know, I'd either need to hire an employee to do that, or I would need to, you know, put out fewer videos on my channel, type of thing. So neither of those things are things I want to do. Hoodies I have found to be an excellent source for running auctions for you on eBay. Their fees are, of course, a little bit higher than if you were to run them on eBay yourself, but not significantly higher. And for me personally, the extra added fee is easily worth it. Everything you're seeing here is cards that I've sold on this trip. I sold a bunch of sort of modern football right before the season. This is stuff that you know, sort of, a lot of this stuff is sort of peaking right as football season. Everyone's getting hyped up for the season, and often this sort of stuff will drop as the season progresses, and that these players don't have like super standout seasons. A Jalen Hurts rookie auto, another Jalen Hurts rookie patch auto for $300. A couple of these cards were consigned to me by someone else, and I basically sent them into Hoodies for that person. Kyle Pitts rookie patch auto, nice patch on that card. Look at that, some numbered out of 10. Really nice looking card. Trey Lance rookie auto for $600 for a BGS 9. You got a Jamar Chase rookie auto from Immaculate, $453. Griffey rookie upper deck. That one actually probably was a little lower than I would have liked. $42 for the upper deck Griffey. A Cal Ripken bat card from 2013, Topps Museum, and an Albert Pujols rookie. I probably would have done better to hold on to this Pujols a little bit longer as he approaches some of the home run milestones. All right, next company I'll talk about is 4 Sharp Corners, and I've heard about them forever, but I'd never actually used them before. This summer was the first time I ever sent them an order, a consignment order, and I just wanted to give them a try because I heard that their prices they fetch in auction are pretty good, and yeah, that was basically my experience. The prices they fetched were pretty good, the auctions they ran, and they're like Hoodies. They just run auctions for you on eBay, and they charge a little bit higher than the you know, the eBay fee would be if you ran it yourself. Now they do have the limitation that they only accept graded cards, so you can't send them raw cards. You can only send them graded cards, PSA, Beckett, CSG, SGC, maybe a couple others. But yeah, so I sent them like a 40 or 50 card order, something like that, and the cards were mainly in the $15 to $50 range. This stuff I would usually send to ComC and just price it in my ComC store, but you know, sometimes you want to auction stuff, get paid back a little bit quicker, so I just want to have that option, and I wanted to give them a try. And yeah, here are just some of the cards that sold. The Tom Seaver 82 Fleer PSA 10 for $46. This base Jordan rookie from base Jordan card from 91 Upper Deck PSA 9 for $18. A Kobe rookie CSG 8.5 for $31. And yeah, like I said, most of the cards I sent them were $15 to $50 cards that I would normally send to ComC and just stick in my store there. But here, I think this was the most expensive card I sent them. A Jordan 1996 Stadium Club High Risers PSA 8, and it went for $180. The other thing I tried for the first time on this trip was selling on Instagram, and I don't have much social media presence. I'm not a social media person at all, but I do have an Instagram account from years ago. I haven't used it in a long time, but I sort of started it back up with the plan to, sell some lots now and then when I'm in the States. And the stuff I want to sell on there is really stuff that is hard for me to sell otherwise. Not because it's not nice stuff. It's actually quite nice stuff, but it's fairly bulky. I can't bring a lot of this stuff back to the Netherlands with me. I don't have enough suitcase space. And a lot of the auction houses and ComC, for example, don't take this sort of stuff. So this was just a listing I made. I had estimated that the total value was $2,700, meaning if you sold everything individually on eBay, you'd sell it for about $2,700, and I was asking $1,800 if picked up, or $1,900 shipped, so something like 65 to 70%. It has a 75 Topps baseball set, a 74 Topps baseball set. You got Brett, Yount, and Winfield rookies in those. 79 Topps set, a 77 Topps set. A bunch of junk wax era traded sets, but better ones. Ones with Bonds and Griffey, Maddox. These are sort of like $20 sets each or so. An 89 score football set. That's a nice set, of course. A 2017 Donruss set. Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum rookies in there. Some mid 80s sets. 86 Donruss, 87 Donruss. Those are both factory sealed. An 80 Topps set baseball and 89 Fleer basketball. More sort of mid-80s sets, 84 Topps baseball, 82 Topps baseball, 84 Fleer baseball, etc. And I provided a spreadsheet of a breakdown of everything. You can see here was what, I said my estimate on the eBay value was, and you can see the total value of everything was $2,700, $27.01. And I was asking again, $1,800 picked up or $1,900 shipped. I did not sell this lot, so it didn't work out, but I'm hoping in the future, this sort of thing will sell for me on Instagram. We'll give it a couple more tries and see how it works out. All right, one more eBay auction company to talk about, and that is Greg Morris Cards, and they are a sponsor of the channel. You'll hear me mention them on the high rollers or regular rollers every now and then. But like with hoodies, I'm a very, very legit customer of theirs. I use them both to buy and sell regularly. I love selling through them as they fetch strong prices. I also love buying through them as their descriptions are extremely accurate, which is sort of, kind of rare when it comes to raw vintage. They have a major limitation if you want to sell through them, and that is they only accept orders, consignment orders of $5,000 and up. So you have to really stockpile a whole bunch of cards before you can send them an order. It usually takes me a couple of trips to the States before I've sort of stockpiled enough cards in an order to send them. But when I do, I send it off to them, and sent them one towards the end of my summer trip. The auctions you see here, actually, when I recorded this video, they were still running, so I don't know what the cards actually sold for, but by the time you watch this, all these auctions will have ended. But this is just sort of examples. Here's a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from 72. They listed it as EX to X mint. Here's a John Elway rookie. 1986 Fleer, Adrian Dantley, and cards like this do well because they're saying it's near mint or better, and they're experts in the field. So if they're saying that, it is, and people are willing to pay a little bit more because it's an expert saying that as opposed to just some random collector. This card as well, Barry Bonds Donruss rookie, 86 Donruss the rookies. They're calling it near mint or better, so it's going to fetch more than it would if I just sent it to ComC. Same with like a vintage common here, in near mint condition. I've started sending them some graded stuff, mainly vintage graded stuff. I haven't sent them a lot of graded stuff in the past, but yeah, started throwing in some. Here's a George Brett rookie and a PSA 5, Ripken Fleer rookie and a PSA 9. This card's already fetching a really strong price. 58 Topps Stan Musial All-Star SGC 7 is already at over $200. A Ripken Donruss rookie in an 8, 83 Topps Nolan Ryan in a 9. Yeah, I started sending them some graded stuff, but really the main thing I send them is sort of high grade raw vintage. So last company I'll mention, and again, there's actually quite a few other companies that I use to sell cards, but these are just the ones I'm mentioning in this particular video, and that's Huggins Scott. And they're an auction house like a Golden or a Heritage. They run auctions on their own website. They run, I think, 3 or maybe 4 auctions a year, have a big fancy catalog. They're set up at all the major shows on the East Coast. They're not as big as Golden or Heritage or Robert Edwards, but they're sort of in that next tier. If you were to rank all the auction house companies for sports cards in the country, biggest to smallest, they'd probably be in the like 5 to 10, range, somewhere in there. They're based out of Maryland, and they're located very close to where I go back to when I travel to the States. I go way back with them. I know the owner. They work out of a store that I travel to. I visit regularly. I've even mentioned it on the channel, House of Cards, and I really, really like their service. They specialize mainly in vintage, but they do plenty of modern as well, and they only accept items valued $750 and up. So you can't send them like a $100 card. But for me, I found it to be a great place to sell more valuable complete sets because that stuff's very bulky. You know, I don't want to take up a lot of suitcase space with that stuff. But I found that they fetch strong prices with vintage sets. So I sold 6 items through them this in their summer auction, and nice stuff. First was a 1961 Topps baseball complete set. Well, a complete low number set. Didn't include the high number series, so it included all the low numbers 1 through 522. It was a really, really nice uniform set. You can see the mantle was a PSA 6. That was the only card graded in the set, but that was basically the uniform grade of the set throughout. I think it was, you know, a solid X Mint set. And, you know, here's the write-up they gave to it, and you can see it sold for $3,600, which I was, you know, pleased with. Also sold a 1970 Topps baseball set. This one was complete 1 through 720. This was sort of a lower grade set, VG, something like that, and went for $875, which, yeah, that's probably about current market value, maybe a little lower than it. Sold a 1969 Topps set, also sort of lower grade VG or so. This card was actually missing one card. It was missing Nolan Ryan, but had everything else, and it even had like a couple of duplicates, I think. But you can see like Reggie Jackson rookie, the mantles there. But it was a VG, maybe even like a VG minus set. This one went for $775. This was, I think, to me the most disappointing one. I thought this would have fetched a little bit more. Sold a 1972 Topps baseball set. This one was really sharp, maybe X Mint across the board. Complete set, including the high numbers, and this set did really well. $2,400. I was very happy with the sale there. I sent them one modern item, which is this 1997 Flair Showcase Row Zero complete set for football. It's a parallel set of 1997 Flair, but not a particularly, well, it's a slightly rare, but not crazy rare. But again, not a popular set. Certainly not a type of set you would ever see where every card's graded by Beckett. So I thought that was sort of unique. But again, this set doesn't really have many key rookies. It has Tony Gonzalez. That's really about it. It has, you know, 4 or 5 major stars, but otherwise it's not a high desired set. So I really didn't know what to value this at. I actually bought this from a viewer of the channel. They sent it through the mail, and I researched it as best I could, and I ended up paying $1,000 for it. But that was sort of like a flyer. I really didn't know what this would go for. So I paid $1,000 for it, put it in the Huggins Scott auction, and it sold for $1,100. So they take 10% off the sale price. So I actually, you know, basically broke even here or lost a little bit, but that's fine. And last item I sent them was a very cool item, 1966 Topps Batman complete set. It's a 55 card set. Every card was graded by PSA. And most of the cards were graded like a 5, but they sort of range from a 3 to a 7 or so. So a very, very solid mid-grade set. And the set sold for $2,300, which I thought was a solid price. But that's it. 5 companies that I guess 4 companies on Instagram that I used to sell cards through the summer. Again, there were others, but these were 5 of the main ones. I would love to hear other people's experience with these companies. Have you used them, and what's your experience as a buyer or a seller? Good, bad, you know, whatever it is. And if you have any, you know, follow-up questions about these companies, feel free to leave them in the comments as always. And until next time, have a great day. Thanks, everyone.